So as we just heard, Korean officials are now preparing for what will likely be the last round of negotiations before the trade deadline set by U.S. President Donald Trump ends this week. For more on this, we're joined by Professor Hur Joon-young, Associate Professor of Economics at Sogang University. Professor Hur, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So South Korean officials were still unable to reach a deal after recent trade talks in Washington. What would you say is the biggest obstacle to an agreement?
The key point is whether it is possible to make investment in the United States to the extent that the U.S. desires. For example, like Japan decided to invest $50 billion in the United States and lower the mutual tariff rate by 10 percentage point from 25% to 15%. Unfortunately, this is unlikely to be the case for Korea. Korea is in a difficult situation to guarantee investment on the scale of Japan. In fact, it is reported that Trump is demanding an investment from Korea of about $400 billion, but the $550 billion that Japan has decided to invest in the United States far exceed the South Korean government budget this year.
I see. And the talks on July 31st are expected to be Korea's last chance to negotiate with the Trump administration before the August deadline. How do you think the negotiations will play out?
As the negotiation deadline approaches, the United States is expected to increase pressure on Korea by intensifying its demands. President Trump has strongly expressed his determination to conclude trade negotiations with major trading partners by August 1st, causing tension for the South Korean government as they are pressed for time. The Korean government is reportedly demanding the maximum possible reduction in mutual tariff rates and item-specific tariffs, such as those on automobiles and steel, with an initial target of setting a mutual tariff rate of 15%, similar to Japan. I believe as the negotiations reach their final stage, Korea will present even larger concessions to the U.S. government.
We'll have to see how that goes. And it seems South Korea is looking to use shipbuilding and semiconductors as leverage in the negotiations. Do you think the strategy will work?
I think so. The Trump administration has recognized China's rise in the shipbuilding industry as a key issue threatening national security. In this context, the United States has planned to revive its shipbuilding industry and strengthen its naval power through cooperation with the South Korean shipbuilding sector, which possesses the world's highest level of technology. Specifically, it is reported that the U.S. government has requested investment in the U.S. by Korean shipbuilding companies, the transfer of key technologies, and support for workforce development. In this regard, I think there are kind of many rooms for cooperation between these two countries.
Right, and the presidential office says agricultural products are now also on the table, despite earlier government claims to the contrary. Is there a possibility that livestock products such as beef imports could become part of the deal?
I think so. Currently, South Korea is the only country aside from Russia and Belarus that impose age restrictions on U.S. beef. Initially, South Korea was hesitant to import U.S. beef over 30 months of age based on public health concern, but it appears that the government is shifting its stance and may include beef and certain other agricultural products in the negotiation items.
See, what happens if the two sides fail to reach an agreement before the August deadline? How might that affect Korean businesses and the broader economy, especially given Korea's dependence on the U.S. market?
If this negotiation fails, I think three layers of opportunity costs will accumulate. First is the ongoing burden of tariff already imposed on items such as steel and automobiles. Second is the blanket burden of a 25% reciprocal tariff. And finally, the third point is the additional high tariff on strategic industries like semiconductors and the structural costs associated with the reorganization of supply chains. To avoid this, we must wisely offer what we can concede.
I see. I guess we'll have to hope that the two sides do reach an agreement this week. All right, Professor Hur, thank you so much for your insight today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.